Alright, so this video is on preparing rubber and winding rubber. So when you're preparing the rubber, so the rubber it doesn't come in a loop, it comes in like strand, like a really long like string. So you're gonna want to cut the rubber into a loop. And when you're first starting, the loop should probably be like 1.5 times the length of the fuselage. So the rubber should be 1.5 times the length of the fuselage when you're first starting, and then you can make adjustments from there. So like, if the plane runs out of winds really quickly, make the rubber longer. If the plane runs out of, if the plane has too many winds left when it comes down, make the rubber shorter. And when I say that the rubber should be 1.5 times the length of the fuselage, I'm talking about the loop, not the strand. The loop the rubber makes should be 1.5 times the length of the fuselage. And when you're making rubber, before you tie the loop, put 2 O-knots onto it. As I showed you before, they're used to... Oh, actually, I didn't show you. I'll show you in a second. But the O-rings are important for attaching the rubber to the plane. So when you want... Oh, and before you start winding, and after each flight, you're going to want to spray some lubricant, like silicone lubricant, inside this bag. Put the rubber inside, and go like this. You're going to want to massage the silicone lubricant into the rubber so that the rubber does not break. So that the rubber does not break as easily. Alright, so when you are attaching, Alright, so when you're attaching the rubber to the torque meter, so this is the torque meter, you're going to want to stick one side of the O-ring, the O-ring without the knot. So you're going to want to put one knot. You want to put one O-ring next to the knot and the other O-ring on the opposite side. So you're going to stick the O-ring without the knot on the torque meter hook. Right there, it loops on. And the other side with the knot is going to want to go on the winder. And this is a 15-to-1 winder, meaning every turn you do is 15 turns. So you can see this is all set up. So when you are winding this thing, you're gonna want to secure the torque meter so that it doesn't move when you pull the rubber back. So you're gonna place the torque meter on a flat surface. You can't see this at the moment, but it's on the floor right now, or the desk. And then you're gonna want to pull. You're gonna want to pull the winder 2 to 3 times the length of the rubber. So make sure you stretch the rubber so you feel like it's at maximum stretch. So with this rubber, it's the I'm probably gonna move 10 feet backwards. Alright, right now I have a nice stretch on the rubber, and I'm gonna start turning the rubber. And you're gonna want to do around 20% of your turns on full stretch, and then you're gonna gradually move inwards when you're winding it. Wind so that it feels like it's almost gonna break, but you know it's not gonna break. So you just wind so that the rubber doesn't break. And yeah, gradually move inwards. And you'll, as you learn, you'll understand how the rubber feels when it's gonna break, and how many times you should wind the rubber. Alright, so I'm winding the rubber, winding the rubber. Alright. I didn't wind the rubber fully. Just because this is for testing purposes. Just like tutorial purposes. So, I finished winding, alright? Look. I finished winding. One end is over here, one end is over there. Rubber has a bunch of knots in it. And to determine, the rubber has a bunch of knots in it. And just look at the torque meter reading right now. So this wire right here. So this is the neutral position. This is 0 torque. And the rubber right now has a torque of 0.2 ounces. 0.2 ounces. So I'll talk about this in a little bit. So to put the rubber on the plane, you want to detach the winder side. Stick it on the back hook. And this is the side with the knot. So stick the side with the knot on the back hook. And then stick the other side on the propeller. Alright. And as you see, if I let go, the propeller turns like this. I'm not going to launch it right now because I'm in my house, but you get the point. I'm just going to set this down for a bit. So now I'm going to talk about the torque meter. So this torque reading is very important because it allows you to wind your rubber so you can get consistent flights. So if you wind from the same distance every time and wind relatively the same amount of winds at each interval of a distance, you should get approximately you should aim to get the same torque reading. So like, let's say you wind the rubber to 0.2 ounces of torque, and you see that it goes halfway to the ceiling. Well, next time you're gonna want to put, let's say, 0.5 inches of torque, and if 0.5 inches of torque makes the plane hit the ceiling, we'll decrease the amount of torque. Alright? Decrease it to like 0.3 ounces. And let's see, when you're winding, yeah, when you're winding, you want to wind over the torque you're going to. So you don't want to just stop at the amount of torque that you're aiming to get. You always want to wind to the rubber's maximum potential, so you get the most out of your rubber. So wind to the rubber's maximum potential, and then unwind it so that you get your desired torque. And that should be all about rubber. That's it.